of the Republic of Maldives.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولقد آتينا لقمان الحكمة أن اشكر لله ومن يشكر فإنما يشكر لنفسه ومن كفر فإن الله غني حميد. وإذ قال لقمان لابنه وهو يعظه يا بني لا تشرك بالله إن الشرك لظلم عظيم. ووصينا الإنسان بوالديه حملته أمه وهنا على وهن وفصاله في عامين أن اشكر لي ولوالديك إلي المصير. وإن جاهداك على أن تشرك بي ما ليس لك به علم فلا تطعهما وصاحبهما في الدنيا معروفا واتبع سبيل من أناب إلي ثم إلي مرجعكم فأنبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. يا بني إنها إن تك مثقال حبة من خردل فتكن في صخرة أو في السماوات أو في الأرض يأت بها الله إن الله لطيف خبير. يا ولا تصعر خدك للناس ولا تمش في الأرض مرحا إن الله لا يحب كل مختال فخور واقصد في مشيك واغضض من صوتك إن أنكر الأصوات لصوت الحمير صدق الله العظيم.
First Lady Madam Sajida Muhammad, Minister of Social and Family Development Dr. Aishat Shiham, UNICEF Resident Representative to the Maldives Dr. Edward Adai, Cabinet Ministers, and esteemed invitees. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning. Welcome to the launching of the National Action Plan on Prevention and Response to Violence Against Children 2024 to 2028. The ceremony began with the recitation of Holy Quran by a student of Islamic University of Maldives, Ms. Aminat Hida. My name is Barra, and I will be your host for the ceremony. The Ministry of Social and Family Development began the formulation of the National Action Plan on Prevention and Response to Violence Against Children with the generous support of UNICEF and the technical consultancy of Rian Private Limited. Through an extensive consultative process, we combined the insights we received from government and non-government organizations, CSOs, and members of the community to create the first draft of the action plan. A special focus was given to ensure that we heard the voice of children during the formulation and the validation of the action plan. We are eager to share the details of the process via this presentation. Please have a look.
අදර්මන බිහාර ෆෙනගෙන් මේ දඩේ Ministry of Gender වේතේදියා දෙහස් 22 වන හරු ශරීෆා මාසතක
Issues. We will move on to the next item on the agenda. The next number on the agenda is the remarks by the UNICEF resident representative to the Maldives, Dr. Edward Adai, I respectfully call upon Dr. Edward Adai to deliver his remarks.
Thank you very much, Ms. Barra. It's important that we are adaptive, and I want to congratulate you for moving the agenda forward in spite of the hiccups. Your Excellency, Madam Sajida Mohammed, our First Lady of the Republic of Maldives, and a champion for children. Dr. Aishat Mohammed, Minister of Social and Family Development. There's a lot more to say, but for now, I'd keep those to the remarks. Friends of Children, Cabinet Ministers, Deputy Commissioner of Police, the members of the steering committee for the action plan that today we are about to launch. They are all here. Allow me to take a second to break with protocol and ask the steering committee to stand up briefly so we give them a big round of applause. Members of the steering committee, those that are here at least. Okay. Thank you very much. Our government and civil society partners, the young people of Maldives who are in a hurry to take over from us, they always tell us that they are not the future, but they are in the present. I agree with you. My colleagues from UNICEF, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Assalamu alaikum. Kihine. Rangalu. I'm pleased and very proud this morning. I'm very excited to really join you this morning to launch the National Action Plan on the prevention and response to violence against children. The word I want to leave with you this morning is action. It's important that we don't over-focus on the plan and we focus on the action. And that's what excites me. And I want to start by thanking Dr. Aishat Siham for her leadership and for her ability to steer us through many spaces. I won't call them landmines, but to bring us to this morning. It's a thankless job as a minister, but today I want these colleagues to give you a big round of applause. Thank you, Dr. Aishat Siham, and through you to the government of Maldives, the staff of your ministry, the steering committee, our consultants, the Rian consultancy, and the team that have worked to make today a reality. I'd like to use the rest of my time to communicate a few messages, if you allow me. My first message is to all of us, first as human beings, and then as professionals. And my message is that when our children are not safe, nothing matters. Today, if any of us gets a call that your child is not safe, you would beg the First Lady and leave and go and see the child. Nothing matters. So this investment is not only the right thing to do, it's also the smart thing to do. Investing in racketeering, in making this country safe, in making our children safe, it's the right thing to do. But smart because it leaves you to do your work. Our children everywhere in Maldives, without exception, need to be safe at homes, in their homes. They need to be safe in their schools. They need to be safe in their communities. They need to be safe online. And for those who we are teaching how to work through internships, etc., they need to be safe in the industries where they are working. Always remember, when the children are not safe, nothing matters. So if you take nothing out of this meeting, this launch, remember that. Self-interest. Because if you get the call, you leave. And in the interest of time, I'll not tell you my story, but over break, I'll tell you a few stories about my own experience. And I would imagine all of us have got some experience about our child or our relative or even ourselves that we can share. When our children are not safe, nothing matters. The second is celebration. I've been to a lot of countries, and I can tell you without fear of contradiction that I always celebrate Maldives. Maldives is a nice place for a child to be born and to grow up. Maldives is a nice place for a child to be born and to grow up, but we cannot take that for granted. We are seeing that today because of what happened in the past. But within Maldives today are seeds that could undermine that, so we cannot take it for granted. The government of Maldives prioritizes its children. It prioritizes child rights. A child who is born in Maldives does not have to think about whether it will live or die. It will live. I can give you statistics. None of us worry about whether our children will go to school or not. Maldives is a nice place. And your government prioritizes it. But more importantly, the government of Maldives does a lot, has done a lot, and continues to do a lot. And it's my hope that this investment that government will make will continue. Your government does a lot, and is doing a lot, and continues to do a lot. Maldives stands out very tall as a beacon of child rights and protection and well-being in this region and globally. The country can boast of very robust and progressive child protection acts, very robust and progressive juvenile justice act. And all of us are proud of it and can be proud of it. Every time I meet my colleagues, I tout it. I don't make them forget. Sometimes they even wonder whether I'm now a citizen of Maldives. But the nice thing about Maldives that I appreciate very much is that it's not about documents, it's not about acts. Each day, I speak to my colleagues, I speak to the ministers. They are focused on implementation, implementing the acts. So implementation is what we are talking about. To fail to implement is to lay the foundation of not getting results. In the case of violence against children, and the prevention and response of violence, a response to violence against children, government is implementing several initiatives to make Maldives a safe place to be born and to grow. I want to highlight a few, but I don't plan to be comprehensive in the interest of time. Let me start by highlighting Halukihine, an initiative that aims at identifying all vulnerable children and linking them with services. Where does that happen in this world? All is the operative word. It doesn't happen anywhere. I'd also like to highlight the sleepless nights the Minister of Education gets when he hears about bullying in school. If children get bullied, Minister of Education gets sleepless nights. Keeping children safe is high on the agenda of the Minister of Education, and he's not here by accident. Thank you, Mr. Minister. I'd also like to highlight the Minister of Homeland Security and the work he's doing to deal with children in conflict with the law. His vision is to give these children a second chance. All children need second chances. Thank you, Mr. Minister. But the police service, our friends, the Maldives Police Service is something you can be proud of. It's a group that you can be proud of. And I saw recently on social media the president acknowledging you. He was not flattering you. He was speaking the truth. Allow me to highlight some of the things you are doing that your children can be proud of. 1, a Safe Community Initiative. Our communities must be safe. 2, safe internet. And the third one, which is linked very closely to your tourism industry, is safe tourism. Thank you very much for the work that you and the team are doing. But more importantly, I want to acknowledge the family and child protection team. They prioritize child safeguarding, the rehabilitation of the children, the reintegration of these children. Every child deserves a second chance. And the truth is that it becomes challenging when it is your child who needs that second chance. Every child, including those in conflict with the law, deserve a second chance. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, we have made progress and we are doing things. And I'm very proud to be part of this movement. And I've also said we cannot take this progress for granted, because we still have unfinished business in preventing and responding to violence in Maldives. Unfortunately, you did not see the video. You would see it. So let me share a few words around that. Each year, as you saw, we see 1,200 cases, over 1,200 cases of violence against children. These are the reported cases. This is only the tip of the iceberg because a lot of it does not get reported. It also means it's real here, and we must do everything to prevent it and to put children back on the path of healing and to minimize the scars of violence. It's a painful thing to experience violence, and that's the empathy that I'd like to, or I hope would influence the work that we do. It's painful and it leaves scars, and these can be lifelong. My last message is that no single ministry, no single institution can effectively deal with this. The prevention and response to violence requires multi-sectoral action. Also requires engagement with families at home. And that's why I feel proud this morning. And I want to thank all the cabinet ministers for committing and for signing the commitment to end violence in Maldives. And indeed, not only signing, you are here this morning as a testament of your commitment. I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and I thank you, First Lady, from the bottom of my heart. The children need it, the children deserve it, Maldives needs it, and you have committed to doing something about it. But in doing something about it, I'd like to suggest and ask that this commitment translates into 4 or 5 things. The first is investments. We need to increase investments in efforts, investments in time, and investment in resources collectively. Second, business as usual will not work. So as we do things, we need innovative approaches. Because as we do things, the market also learns and does things. And I think the Minister for Homeland Security can tell you more about how the markets is behaving with our children. Third, we need to strengthen the institutions. Fourth, we need to implement. And the last is we need to implement with our eyes on results and impact. My hope is that when we next meet, it will be a meeting that will be based on monitoring of results that we have achieved, and a meeting that would continue to hold ourselves mutually accountable. So UNICEF will continue to work with you to move from the paper-based plan into implementation and into the monitoring bit. And if any of us forget, please remind us. Let me conclude by saying that fighting and preventing violence is right for children. It is right for families. It's right for society. But more importantly, it is right for generations. We stand here, UNICEF stands ready to walk with you along this journey. A journey that should lead to the implementation of this action plan and the delivery of results. Because unless we have Rakatari homes, Rakatari schools, Rakatali communities, Rakatali online spaces, and Rakatali industries. We should not stop, and we will not stop. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Edward Adai. The unwavering support extended by UNICEF has surely been what made this initiative possible. As our team has put in a lot of effort to share the process of the formulation of the National Action Plan, we would like to try to play the presentation once again.
In 2022, a total of 1,285 cases of violence against children were reported.
My apologies again. We will move forward with the next agenda item, which is the launching of the action plan. May I invite First Lady of Republic of Maldives, Her Excellency Madam Sajida Mohammed, to launch the National Action Plan on Prevention and Response to Violence Against Children, accompanied by Ministry of Social and Family Development, Dr. Aishat Shiham, and UNICEF representative to the Maldives, Dr. Edward Adai. Thank you, First Lady. The next item on the agenda is remarks by the Minister of Social and Family Development, Dr. Aishat Shiham. I respectfully call upon the Minister to deliver her remarks. Minister Aishat Shiham.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala Sayyidina Muhammadin Khatimil Anbiya wal Mursaleen wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Chief Guest, First Lady Madam Sajida, Ministers, Deputy Commissioner of Police, UNICEF representative to the Maldives, Dr. Edward Adai, esteemed guests and children. Assalamu alaikum and good morning. At the outset, let me, on behalf of all present here, acknowledge and appreciate the presence of our First Lady, Madam Sajida, and her unwavering commitment to the well-being of our children. We are delighted to have you here today. In 1995, when I began my journey in the field of child protection, almost half of the Maldivian population constituted of children. Today, the number has declined, with around a third of the population constituting children, and the statistic stands at 31% according to the 2022 census. Our population has shifted, and the bulge of our population pyramid has moved, opening new potential and opportunities. What has been consistent across time has been this nation's commitment to the protection and well-being of our children, coupled with the staunch support of UNICEF as a reliable partner in this endeavor. I take this opportunity to note our deep gratitude to UNICEF for your continued support and guidance in this critical national effort. If my memory serves me right, today we are celebrating the launch of the 4th National Plan of Action for the Protection of Our Children. I would like to gratefully acknowledge and note the immense contribution of every single individual across the nation who has tirelessly worked for a better life for our children. Let me also salute the work of past governments, civil society, local and international donors for the colossal effort in the enhancement of the lives of our children. We as a nation has achieved much in the area of service provision, system enhancement, and the increased awareness of the needs and protection of our children. Today we come together to collaborate on an issue that should not be an aspect of a civilized society: violence against children. The manifesto of President Dr. Mohammad Muiz recognizes these grave issues and commits to addressing them with urgency and dedication. It highlights the need to protect our children from violence and to foster an environment where every child can grow up in safety and dignity under the care of healthy families and nurturing families. And this National Action Plan certainly is a call for action, a blueprint for the collective effort required to confront and eradicate violence in all its forms. To prevent and effectively respond to violence against children, we must adopt a comprehensive and collaborative approach. This involves engaging all relevant authorities, community organizations, and individuals in a united front. As the African proverb goes, it takes a village to raise a child, highlighting the need for entire communities to interact positively with children, for them to flourish and thrive. We believe that prevention is our strongest line of defense, the least disruptive, and engaging communities in the protection of children is fundamental to our approach. IBAMA, a homegrown initiative, proves an effective structure to achieve this goal. Our ministry, in collaboration with the stakeholders from the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, Local Government Authority, Maldives Police Services, Department of Juvenile Justice, Women's Development Committees and Island Councils, along with the generous support of UNICEF, are enhancing the IBAMA structure already established in 15 atolls and 129 islands. The trained and empowered IBAMA teams on the ground in islands continue to amaze us by their innovativeness, deep understanding of the social dynamics in the communities, and their dedication to support the vulnerable families. Together, our efforts will undoubtedly empower the communities, families, and children to eradicate violence against children and families. All children across all boundaries, societies, and cultures deserve safe and nurturing environments. Though we make concrete efforts, engage in multi-sector solutions to address the challenges children face in many places across the world, those efforts are overwhelmed by devastation and disaster. If I were to focus on one situation that weighs upon my heart and weighs upon the hearts of the Maldivian people, it is the situation of children in Palestine. The West Bank, the Gaza Strip, the nation of Palestine and her people besieged for the past 76 years. Over the last 9 months, we have watched on horrified the massacre that to date has created 25,000 orphans, left 100,000 wounded, of which 30,000 children have lost their limbs. More than 14,000 children have reportedly been killed. Thousands more have been injured. There are no safe spaces, according to the latest estimate of the Palestinian Ministry of Health. All of Gaza's children have been exposed to the traumatic experiences of war, the consequences of which will last a lifetime. Due to the displacement and the ongoing assault of the Palestinians, those children who are alive are deprived of education and robbed of their full potential. We condemn the bombing of schools and shelters and hospitals, reduced to rubble, with war crime after war crime being justified and defended. I fear not only for the loss of a people, but for the loss of our humanity. Those of us who stand on the sidelines of history and fail to address the greatest evils of our time and the loss of our innocence. We must protect all children from violence and reject ideologies of hate that perpetuate this suffering. Palestinian children deserve the world's compassion and urgent action to reclaim their future. Let us reaffirm our commitment today to safeguarding our children's future. Let us pledge to work together, government, communities, and individuals, to build a society where every child is protected, valued, and empowered. Through our united efforts, we can create a brighter, safer future for all children of the Maldives and the world. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. وَمَا تَوْفِيقِي إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ عَلَيْهِ تَوَكَّلْتُ وَإِلَيْهِ أُنِيبُ. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Minister. The National Action Plan on Prevention and Response to Violence Against Children will represent the roadmap of child protection for the next 5 years. As such, the key stakeholders, relevant ministries, and the government institutions recognize the importance of the plan. Next on the agenda is the handover of the commitment to the First Lady, Madam Sajida Mohammed, by Minister of Social and Family Development, Dr. Aishat Shiham. May I invite Her Excellency, Madam Sajida Mohammed, First Lady of the Republic of Maldives. I would now like to invite Madam First Lady Sajida Mohammed to deliver her remarks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Minister of Social and Family Development, Dr. Aishat Shiham, Cabinet Ministers, UNICEF representative to the Maldives, Dr. Edward Adai, senior officials of the Ministry of Social and Family Development and Maldives Police Service, steering committee members, distinguished guests, very good morning and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is a profound honor to stand before you today at the launching ceremony of the National Action Plan on Prevention and Response to Violence Against Children. Today marks the beginning of an essential journey, one that seeks to ensure that every child in our nation is not only shielded from the harm, but is also empowered to flourish in a safe, nurturing environment. Children are the beating heart of our society, the bedrock of our future, and the most precious asset we possess. Yet, they remain among the most vulnerable. It is our solemn duty to protect them. The government's manifesto embodied in the pledge Komme Kujjakang Ailai reflects our unwavering commitment to providing a loving, caring family environment for every child. But words alone are not enough. The reality of violence and abuse against children demands immediate and decisive action. Today, with the launch of National Action Plan on Prevention and Response to Violence Against Children, we take a monumental step towards addressing the critical issues. This plan is more than just a policy. It is a comprehensive strategy, a clear roadmap that outlines how we will prevent, protect, and respond to violence against our children. Our vision is clear. A future where every child grows up in an environment free from violence, where they can develop into responsible, resilient, and confident individuals. Achieving this vision requires a united effort. We must create widespread awareness, foster safe environments, and equip families with the knowledge and resources they need to support and nurture their children. Strengthening our response system is not merely about offering protection. It is about building resilience. It is about helping children heal, rebuild their lives, and ultimately preparing them to become the strong, productive members of society we know they can be. Those who have experienced violence need more than just protection. They need our support to overcome their trauma, to heal, and to find hope and confidence once again. By investing in their resilience, we are not only addressing their immediate needs, but also laying the foundation for a brighter, more secure future for them and for our entire nation. As we move forward, let us remember that this is not the responsibility of one, but of all. We must come together in a united front to achieve the vision we have set forth. Let us never forget that every child deserves a life free from violence, a life filled with opportunities to grow, learn, and flourish. By launching and endorsing this National Action Plan, we are making a powerful declaration. The safety, well-being, and the future of our children are our highest priorities. I thank you all for your dedication, your commitment, and your unwavering efforts in making this vision a reality. Let us move forward with determination, compassion, and an unyielding resolve for the sake of our children and for the future of our nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. With that, we officially conclude this ceremony. Before the official conclusion of the ceremony, we would like to request for a group photo. Thank you all the attendees for accepting our invitation and for being here with us today. Thank you.
අද මේ අයකීක මේ රස්මියාත නුමකා හිසාබ මේ මේ රස්මියාත බලායර හම රසු ජම්හූරියා ගම්කම් සාජදා මොහම්මද් අදේ මිනිස්ටර් ऑफ सोशल डेवलपमेंट මේ වනි වාහක ෆ්ලෝ දක්වාෆ එදෙබේ දෙබෙෆුන්ගේ වාහක ෆ්ලෝ සමවර බඩ ෆාහ කරබේ එකම එකමියතේ අකුඩ කුදින් රක්කාතෙර කුමටක රාජේ මේකේ කුරින් වෙස් කුරමුගෙන් දෙ මාසෙක මිහා හිසාබ ෆෙෂිකින් ඉතුරු හර්ෆතක ජෙහිගේ මේ දී ඒකම මේ අයකීක රාජේක කුදින් අනියන් හුෂල්ගේ කුරින් කුරබේ මාසෙක තන් ඉතුරුන් හරුදනාකෝ අනියන් හුෂලි ෆවා කුදින දෙවේ එහි තෙරිකන් ඉතුරුන් හරුදනා කුරුමට කාවිසින මාසෙක තෙක කුරුමට කාමි ඇක්ෂන් ප්ලෑන් ගේ තෙරෙන් මෙවනි මේ මාසෙක කුරුම හමජීෆ එංකම වමායක රාජ්‍යක කුඩ කුදිනා දෙකොල කුරුවේ මාසෙක තන් ඉතුර හරුදනා කුරුවෙන් දානකම හම දෙබෙෆුන්ගේ වාහකුලිස් මෙවනි ෆාහ කුරවාෆ අම මේ හයිසාබොම් මේ ලයිව් කවරේජ් නි මාලාෆ කෙලානි හුරා බෙෆුනස් වරංගා මා බාජ්වරි දුහක දෙමු වස්සලාම අලයිකුම්